At the beginning of this story, we are shown Scotland many years ago. There lived a princess named Merida in Scotland, and she was extremely brave. Since childhood, she had watched her father fight in battles, which is why she also wanted to become a warrior. And when it was her 6th birthday, her father gifted her a bow and arrow, which made Merida very happy. That same night, while following a firefly, Merida begins walking deeper into the forest, and suddenly, she comes face to face with a demon bear that attacks her. But before it could kill Merida, her father arrives there and starts fighting the bear to save his daughter. Although he defeats the bear, he loses one of his legs in the process. Now, many years pass, and she also has 3 younger brothers. Merida's mother wants her to behave like a princess and live a royal lifestyle. But Merida absolutely dislikes that kind of life. She prefers living like a normal girl. Most of her time is spent outside the castle in the forest. One night, while Merida is having dinner with her family, a letter arrives saying that many princes will soon be coming to their kingdom. Merida does not understand this at all, after which she is told that one of those princes will marry her. In fact, it is her royal matchmaking ceremony. But Merida does not want to get married, so she angrily leaves the place. And when she is in her room, Merida's mother comes there and tells her the story of 4 kings. One of those kings wanted the strength of 10 men inside him, so he used magic on himself, after which he began living separately from his family. Merida does not like this story at all, so she leaves from there. Soon, all the princes from different kingdoms arrive, and Merida's mother welcomes them all and says that the princess will give them a challenge, and whoever wins the challenge will marry Merida. King lords are also present there, and they are extremely powerful rulers, so marrying one of their sons is considered a huge honor. But Merida is still not ready for marriage. All the princes who have come there start fighting among themselves. Merida's father calms everyone down, and now the first round of the challenge begins, which is archery, meaning everyone must impress Merida with their aim. One by one, everyone takes their shot, but none of them succeed. Then a prince steps forward, and from the way he holds the bow, it is obvious that he could never hit the target. But by pure accident, his arrow lands perfectly on the mark, which means Merida would have to marry him. However, Merida is not ready for this at all, so she clearly refuses. She herself picks up a bow and arrow and steps forward because she wants to compete for her own hand in marriage. One by one, all of her arrows hit the target perfectly, leaving everyone shocked. And then Merida walks away from there. Seeing Merida's behavior makes her mother extremely angry. She goes to Merida's room and scolds her harshly. Merida argues back with her as well. There is a family portrait there, and Merida tears herself out of the picture before riding her horse and heading toward the forest. After traveling far away, the horse throws her off, and at that moment, Merida sees a firefly in front of her. It is the same firefly she had seen in her childhood. She starts following it and eventually reaches a house deep in the middle of the forest where an old lady lives. In reality, this old woman is a witch who knows many kinds of magic. Merida tells her to teach her magic so she can completely change her mother. So, without asking for any payment, the witch agrees to help Merida. Merida removes the locket from around her neck and says that the witch can take it. When the old witch sees the locket, she remembers that many years ago, a king had come there wanting the strength of 10 men, and he had used magic on himself. Now his condition has become terrible. She tells this to Merida, but Merida only wants to change her mother's mind. So the witch says that Merida will have to help her, and in exchange for the locket, the witch bakes her a cake and tells her to feed it to her mother. Merida leaves from there, but the witch wanted to tell her something before she left. However, Merida had already gone, and at the same time, the witch and her house disappear from the forest. After returning to the castle, Merida feeds the cake to her mother. As soon as she eats it, her condition starts becoming much worse. Merida takes her mother to her room, and before her eyes, her mother transforms into a wild bear. Merida becomes completely terrified and cannot understand what has happened. She tells her mother that she met a witch in the forest who gave her the cake, and because of that cake, she turned into a bear. Merida tells her mother that if they return to the forest, they may be able to cure her, but getting out of the castle is not that easy. At the same time, Merida's father hears the sound of the bear, so he starts heading upstairs with his soldiers. Merida wants to get her mother out of there at any cost. Merida's mother, now a bear, walks into the room of her 3 children, where the kids become frightened after seeing her. Even after turning into a bear, she still recognizes her children, which is why she tells them to clean up the mess in the room. Merida also arrives there and tells her 3 brothers that they will have to help her because she wants to get the bear out of the castle. In return, she promises to give them all of her share of sweets for the entire year. The 3 brothers agree to help her, and together, they create the shadow of a small bear in such a way that it looks like a huge bear is moving upstairs. The king and all his men rush upward, and taking advantage of the opportunity, Merida escapes into the forest with her mother, who is now a bear. But when she reaches the place where she had met the witch, neither the witch nor her house is there anymore. Merida searches for the witch along with her mother, and eventually she finds the house again. When she enters inside, she sees a glowing pot, but the witch herself is nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, the witch's shadow appears from inside the pot. She tells Merida that if she cannot restore her mother within 2 days, then her mother will remain a bear forever. She also explains that there is only one way to save her mother. Merida must completely break her own pride and repair her relationship with her mother. The witch also says that it will take her a long time to return. Neither Merida nor the bear fully understands what the witch means, and both of them become disappointed. Merida has no idea how she is going to save her mother. Soon, both Merida and her mother become hungry, but satisfying the hunger of her mother, who is now a bear, is not easy at all. So, Merida takes her to the riverside, where both of them catch fish, and after eating plenty of fish, her mother's hunger is finally satisfied. As time passes, Merida's mother slowly begins forgetting that she was ever human. She starts believing that she is completely a bear now, which is why she prepares to attack Merida. But the very next moment, she remembers that she cannot attack Merida because she is her daughter. Once again, Merida sees the same magical firefly in the forest, the one she had followed before when she found the witch's house. She follows the magical firefly once more, and this time, it leads her to a strange place filled with mysterious markings. Looking at them, she feels as if she has heard about these symbols somewhere before. Suddenly, her foot slips, and she falls down into some ruins below. There, she sees carvings of 3 kings together on the stones, while the carving of one king is separated from the others. Seeing this reminds Merida of the story her mother told her about kings. One of those kings wanted the strength of 10 men, so he could rule over everyone, which is why he went to the witch. The witch used magic on him, but the outcome turned out to be terrible. He did receive the strength of 10 men, but that power came in the form of a bear, and that same bear was the one that attacked her father during her childhood. At that very moment, the bear suddenly appears in front of her and attacks Merida. Somehow, Merida manages to escape from there and rides away from the place on top of her mother, who is still a bear. Merida finally understands that she must repair the broken relationships and let go of her pride. Just as the statues of the 3 kings stood together, while one king stood separated from them. In the same way, Merida had separated herself from her family in the portrait. She now realizes that if she wants to save her mother, she must stitch the torn tapestry back together so her mother can become human once again. That was the true meaning behind the witch's riddle. But entering the castle is not going to be easy, because if she brings her mother, who has turned into a bear inside the castle, her father will kill her instantly. So, both of them must sneak in secretly. Merida's mother knows about a hidden passage, and through that route, they manage to enter the castle. Inside, all the princes are already gathered there, every one of them wanting to marry Merida. In fact, Merida's mother had asked them all to wait, and they had been waiting ever since. Merida steps in front of everyone, and understanding her mother's gestures, tells them that people should always marry the person they truly love, the person they genuinely want to marry. Every individual should have the right to choose their own life partner. Everyone understands what Merida is trying to say, after which she tells them all to head toward the party hall. Everyone leaves for the hall, and now Merida takes her mother to her room. She wants to stitch the torn tapestry back together. But before she can do it, her father arrives there looking for his wife, Merida's mother. And when he enters Merida's room and sees the bear standing behind her, he immediately draws his sword and attacks the bear. Although Merida tries to explain to him that the bear is actually her mother, her father refuses to believe her. To save herself, Merida's mother runs away from there. Arrows are fired at her, but she escapes and manages to flee the place. The king locks Merida inside her room. At the same time, Merida's 3 brothers have also eaten the cake. The same cake that turned her mother into a bear has now transformed all 3 brothers into little bears as well. Merida asks her brothers for help, and with their assistance, she escapes from the room. Merida's father is then shown leading his men as they begin hunting the bear. He wants to kill the bear because he hates it. He believes that this is the same bear that attacked Merida during her childhood and tore off his leg. So, now he wants revenge for losing his leg by killing the bear. The king's men eventually capture the bear, who is actually Merida's mother, and just before Merida's father can kill her, Merida arrives there. She begins fighting against her father, and while the 2 of them are struggling, the other bear suddenly appears there, the one who was once the king, who wished for the strength of 10 men. Merida's father realizes that this is the same bear that attacked Merida in her childhood and took his leg. The bear is incredibly powerful, and no one is able to stop him. There comes a moment when the bear is about to attack and kill Merida, and when Merida's mother, who is still a bear, sees this, she breaks free from the ropes and attacks the beast in order to save her daughter. A fierce battle begins between the 2 bears. There is a huge stone nearby that is starting to break apart. Merida's mother notices this and begins forcing the other bear toward the stone so that it will collapse on top of him and kill him. But none of this is easy. The bear once again attacks Merida, and just before he can hurt her, the massive stone falls directly on top of him, killing him instantly. In the very next moment, the spirit of the king appears above the stone. In reality, he has finally been freed, but now Merida must reach the castle at any cost so she can stitch the torn tapestry and turn her mother back into a human. However, the sun begins to rise, and Merida realizes that she can no longer make it back to the castle in time while her mother is still trapped in the form of a bear. Because of this, Merida starts crying uncontrollably. She realizes how deeply she truly loves her mother. It was only her stubbornness that made her want to change her mother, and now she fully understands her mistake. Soon, daylight completely fills the sky, meaning the 2 days are over, and then Merida suddenly feels her mother's hand on her head. Her mother has completely turned back into a human because both Merida and her mother have realized their mistakes. This reverses the witch's spell. Soon after, Merida's 3 brothers also arrive there, and they too have turned back into humans. All of them embrace each other as a family. After this, all the princes who had come there to marry Merida are sent back, because both Merida's mother and father now understand that every person has the right to live life on their own terms and the right to choose their own life partner. And with that, our movie ends. Hope you liked the recap. If you reached the end, don't forget to leave a like on the video and write us a nice comment as you always do. And for those watching us for the first time, subscribe to the channel to see all the upcoming recaps. See you in the next movie. Peace.